Hello and welcome back to the Nasty Metal Production channel here at YouTube. Welcome to another album of the week. This, of course, is episode number 27. Since last week was another kind of a tribute sort of video in a way, since of course it was I was paying tribute to, of course, the late Vinnie Paul. But it seems like that come week after, or week later, I gotta do another one. And this one, though, kind of definitely hits kind of home with me because of, while I didn't know, of course, singer Jonathan Stewart, or of course better known as John Stewart from, of course, Slauter Xstroyes, not to be, of course, confused with the comedian. But of course, him, definitely kind of tough one a bit here. I have, of course, I didn't get to really know the guy, but back in 2016 when I reviewed Winterkill, which, of course, I just did it mostly out of, because I think the album, in a way, just needed some sort of, a spotlight. And I definitely wanted to kind of bring attention to that album, since it was pretty much a underground cult classic, and it definitely gained that status. But I felt like it was worth talking about and reviewing. But I didn't know that it was actually going to be that, that reached that kind of level. Apparently he had liked it so much that he pretty much had sent me a care package. Of course, that being for his other band, Energy Vampires, which he had formed after leaving Slauter Xstroyes. Sent me a couple of copies of the CD from Shadow Records, and of course sending me the LP, which of course, out of generosity, he had signed. And in a way, it definitely hit me. And so, when finding out yesterday and going on Facebook and hearing that he had passed away, it definitely hits home with me. So in a way, most of this video is really going to take up as kind of more of a tribute to him. Even though I will probably talk a little bit of the album here, Free the Beast, which of course I did not review. I didn't get to listen to it until really being hooked with the Winterkill album. But it definitely hits quite a bit with me here. And again, I didn't get to really know the guy, but to somehow find out, or really end up knowing that he had liked that review so much that he actually wanted to send me a signed copy of the Energy Vampires record and all that. And of course, you probably just saw which I framed you a picture of what what it says. It definitely pretty much hits quite home here. So with that, again, he, of course, singer for Slauter Xstroyes, which, of course, again, here and there you may not hear a whole lot of people that say he was a great singer, but if you ask me, the guy was a unique singer, unique vocalist. I can come up with all sort of comparisons to either Jeff Tate, to King Diamond, or to Mark the Shark Shelton from Manila Road. But the guy just had a charisma to him. He had a personality to his singing that, again, not a whole lot of people these days can actually match, especially when it comes to heavy metal, especially the new wave of traditional heavy metal. Even though not many singers will get out of this whole movement, there won't be another sort of unique singer like Jonathan Stewart or John Stewart, whatever, which name you prefer. You'll never get a unique singer like him again. Winterkill, Free the Beast, And of course, Energy Vampires, all three great bands. You'll never get a single like this. And it's definitely, in a way, kind of sad. And of course, hearing that the complications he was dying from was cancer. Since Brent Sullivan, who of course the bass player from Slauter Xstroyes, definitely had messaged me about this. And of course, he didn't tell me what he had died from. I ended up finding out from another friend of mine, Painkiller, over at Force of Steel, was the one that breaking that sort of part of the news. In a way, kind of an underground metal family, I guess, in a way. But still, it's just sad that we actually ended up losing a guy who never got quite big, even though he did get some sort of TV notice back in 1986 for saving a 2-year-old kid, baby, from a gutter. And maybe right here I might just insert that interview footage.
For Stewart, the act of heroics will play a big role in his musical career.
It inspired me knowing that I saved somebody's life, especially a 2-year-old. I think it's going to inspire me in a song and everything.
And while this rescue saved one young life, it is equally significant that it has changed another.
I smoke, and once in a while I go out to drink and stuff like that, and I think that now that this happened, knowing that it was a 2-year-old, and I'm 23, and I lived this whole time, and somebody's life could be taken away at 2, and they wouldn't get a chance to be 23, so it makes me look and realize and say, hey, jerk, look at you're 23, and this kid almost even didn't get a chance to be 3,
Pat LaLama, Channel 5
Definitely,
News.
for some of those kind of, even that, the generosity, it just says, just speaks volume for itself. So with that, I guess I don't want to go too long with the sort of mourning here, even though I'm just more so going through at least a bit of the past. This is definitely hopefully solid tribute, because for me, and just a generosity package from at least this guy, and knowing that to me it definitely hits quite a bit. So with that, hopefully we take a moment to at least remember this guy. So with that, let's also then talk about a little bit of Free the Beast before I end the video here, so I don't take this one too long, since this is just a album of the week, but I definitely had to take quite a bit of a moment to kind of to reminisce on such, hopefully within a short amount, at least a good long distance of this guy. So that Free the Beast was, of course, was the last thing he had recorded with Slauter Xstroyes, even though basically it was a comp, because most of the songs that were recorded back in 1987, before him leaving the band to go on and then form Energy Vampires. Before forming that, they basically Rockadrome ended up taking or Monster Records, whatever, when they were took the leftover tracks, but also ended up taking other leftover songs that were recorded prior to the Winterkill album. So basically, the whole make up this 12-track comp with one bonus video titled "It." Definitely a little more, now a comparison to like Winterkill, this is definitely more so kind of to the production and everything, a little more refined, because it definitely doesn't have that rehearsal demo quality of the Winterkill album. And of course the tracks Metal's No Sin, Battle Axe, and Dignified Disaster, which all have that sort of rehearsal sort of demo quality to them, whereas everything from Free the Beast up to about Farther Than Yesterday all have a more refiner studio, almost album quality to them. But yet it's still, while definitely even musically a little more technical, but yet it still has that same raw intensity, that same heaviness that the Winterkill album had. And again, singer John Stewart is just pretty much on fire throughout the whole thing. All the stuff he has done with, of course, Slauter Xstroyes and Energy Vampires have all been tremendous fucking great stuff. So with that, even though some people will say whether or not Free the Beast is as good as Winter Kill, some people have said it's not as good, but for me, I think it's almost as good as Winter Kill. The more and more I just listen to it, the more it just has that same feel. It's just surprising that Slaughter Xstroyes never got nearly to the pedestal that an underground band like Middle of the Road has really gained, especially when it comes to all the albums that were released. It's really surprising. They could have easily been either next to like Sirith Ungol or Nasty Savage. They could have easily been. They were that freaking good to me, but they just never got that far, and it's quite sad, really. The last thing that John Stewart ever recorded as a musician was the Energy Vampires demo or album, which was a cassette. It was released back in 1991. And some of that stuff would not be later released on CD and vinyl, not until 2009 or 2008 through Shadow Kingdom Records. So it's just quite it's quite sad that that ended up happening, but still great. Definitely a great, not a real long legacy, but there is at least to me enough good works of material to basically to listen back and reminisce on such a unique and underrated singer. So with that, definitely came as a shocker to me, but with that, hopefully he's in a better place right now. Hopefully he's at least wherever he is. So with that, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed this episode. So that, rock and power, rest in power, John Stewart of course, Slauter Xstroyes and Energy Vampires. Take care, everyone. Hope you enjoyed.